So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about how feminine energy can transform. And so I want to call this, we're doing another case study. I want to call this case study how to gain clarity, how to gain focus, and how feminine energy can help transform. If you're interested in a video like that, please keep watching. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are doing another case study on feminine energy, but we're doing something a little different in this video where we're going to look at the life of Rob Dyrdek and how feminine energy has helped transform him and his life. This one's a little interesting because I say this all the time. There's something that I consider the heroine story, which, if you know about the hero story, is what a lot of movies and books, they use this template of, the hero going on a journey, being transformed, going through a physical test, and therefore being transformed and getting to the other side and finding victory. So there's this thing that I've found when it comes to feminine energy and the heroine test, which is similar to the hero story. In the heroine story, typically the person goes through an emotional test because feminine energy is more relational, it's more emotional. So typically, instead of the physical test, you go through an emotional test, which then transforms you and manifests your dream life after that test. Typically, you learn how to choose your outfit, so to speak. And so if you do not know who I am, my name is Amber Turner, and I am the author of You Choose Your Outfit, with outfit being the metaphor for your reality and experience. I'm also the CEO of this censored apparel brand, and we believe in being bold, being loud, and being confident. And in this case study, we are looking at the life of Rob Dyrdek and how feminine energy transformed his life and allowed him to gain clarity and focus on his life. Now, before we get into his case study, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between masculine energy and feminine energy, just to give a little reference on why I'm even doing the case study on Rob Dyrdek in the first place. So masculine energy is execution. It is forceful, it's fast moving, it's more transactional, it makes things happen. And so if you think about when it comes to the sperm and the egg, if we're thinking about energy, the sperm is fast moving, goes after what it wants, which is the egg. And the egg, on the other hand, sits there, chooses, and is receptive and waits for the sperm to come fertilize it. Well, feminine energy is more creation, it's life force, it's receptive, it's attractive. Like, it attracts the sperm to the egg, right? It's attractive, it's receptive. And so if you think about it in those terms, then you can understand the difference between masculine energy and feminine energy. So if we think about when it comes to manifesting, feminine energy is more visionary, it's more creative, sees the big vision, it's visionary. Whereas masculine energy is go out and do it, execute, and make it happen. So if we want to think about masculine energy and feminine energy and how they are, and the polarity of it, and how they are an amazing complement to each other in actually manifesting things into existence, there you have it. I think I explained it pretty well. If I didn't, maybe I can make it work in editing. Masculine energy wants to make things happen, and feminine energy is more receptive and brings clarity. It's more visionary, it's more creative. And so when you can marry the two together, magic happens, right? So that's why I want to talk about Rob Dyrdek in this case study, how he managed to gain clarity in all his different business ventures that he's had along the way and in his life. So Rob Dyrdek was a professional skateboarder, but he came into mainstream. He was pretty much known for this show we call Rob and Big. Now, I remember when Rob and Big came out, I was in college, and it was the most funniest thing on television.
Place, man. You got everything here. Everything.
It does. It is nice, man. It's nice. It's good living, Black. This is good living.
We gotta have some type of celebration. Celebrate this right here.
No, we will. We will. As soon as you settle in, housewarming party. We'll do it big. Do a big one too.
And I didn't know Rob Dyrdek before Rob and Big, and that's actually, you know, Rob and Big is actually what brought him into the mainstream. That's when many people started knowing about this guy, this professional skateboarder that most people didn't know about. The rest of us that didn't really know about skateboarding, you probably didn't even know who Rob was. I know I didn't. And it wasn't until he came up with the show Rob and Big where he was catapulted into the mainstream. And it aired on MTV, and during this time there was not many shows that I can think of that were like Rob and Big, and that's actually what made it so unique. And their chemistry was just magnetizing. I mean, people love to see their relationship because Big was big. Big was his bodyguard and he was huge. And then there is Rob, who was on the smaller side. And, you know, just the likelihood of that friendship people found so fascinating. But even before that, before he became mainstream, Rob actually had a few businesses. He was definitely what you would consider a serial entrepreneur, and he was into a lot of things, and he had a lot of different businesses, and that's kind of what he's known for, is to get in different things. And from interviews that he's done, that's actually what fuels him. He gets excited with entrepreneurship. He gets excited coming up with ideas and different business ventures. Which
you tend to think you can do everything and get caught out there.
I can't blame him, because that creative side, when it comes to coming up with the logo and the slogan and, you know, the direction of a business is so exciting. And that's something that he found a lot of excitement in. And so Rob did a lot of things, actually got into a lot of things. And one of the things that I remember on the show is that he would sometimes try to find a woman for his life. And even though he was rumored with some, you know, females in Hollywood, he was not known for having a long-term relationship or a significant relationship that I can recall. And he was kind of known as like a bachelor. And so admittedly, Rob knew that he was all over the place. He was into a lot of things and he had no focus. And that was one thing that he knew about himself, is that he wanted to do everything, anything and everything. And so I think it's important sometimes when we get to a point in our life and we're doing a lot of things, we come to a point in our life where we ask the question, what are we doing this for? And what is my why? And I think that Rob actually got to a point in his life where he was like, why am I doing all these things? What is life about? And he started asking himself deeper questions about, well, what is all of this for? And then he meets Brianna Noel. Now, Brianna Noel is a beautiful girl. I remember the first time that I saw her, I was like, wow, she is stunning. And so she definitely had Rob mesmerized. So typically when it comes to relationships and finding something in your life that's a lot more significant, we start wanting to plan. When you start asking those questions, you start getting clear. Once he met Brianna, he started asking the question and actually taking a deep dive into what he wanted out of life.
Called to discover within yourself, especially when the train's going 1,000 miles an hour and you're doing a million things. I just was like, no, you have to. You got to do it now. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do it now, and you've ran 40 years of just all over the place. You know it doesn't work. It's like, stop and think about it all, and then what does it all look like? And I would argue that even when that self-discovery is right around the time I met my wife.
Really? And what was he building all of this for? And I think that's a beautiful thing when you can get to that kind of clarity in your life, because that gives you focus. That gives you about like when you're all over the place, you don't know what you're building and how you want to operate your life. And to get that kind of clarity because you have something significant in your life, then you're like, well, how can I build a life around this? That's something that's important to me, the nucleus of my life. How can I build around that? And that's what he started to do. He started to get clear. He started to gain clarity, and he started to get focused. So there's a lot of beauty that comes from focus, because when you're all over the place, you might be running around not really realizing what you're doing. And I know that a lot of times there's a saying or something along the lines of, some people are just busy but not producing. And then there's people that are producing. And so when you can get clear about your life and how you want your life to be, that's when you can really start building a life. Because when you're all over the place and you have no vision, you have no clarity, you're just doing. But there's something powerful about being versus doing. But you can just tell that his life has so much more meaning with Brianna and their children in it. And you can just see how bringing that feminine energy and how Brianna has really helped bring clarity and focus to Rob's life. And when you have a why, that's what makes, going through life so much easier. While you're contending with the hardships that you have to contend with, all of the things and obstacles that life throws at you, when you have a why and you're clear on your vision, it makes it so much easier to navigate. Because when you don't have a clear vision, then those tough times, those obstacles that you have to overcome, it's a whole lot harder. Did I say that right? It is. It's a whole lot harder to move through that. It's not impossible. It is possible, but it's a lot harder, because when you have something to focus on in that future, you have a vision that makes everything so much easier. Bringing that feminine energy into his life gave him clarity, gave him focus, and gave him vision. And I know, and I studied him, and I've seen the change in his life, and it all was sparked by Brianna. It's so obvious to me. And admittedly to him as well. And so I just wanted to share that case study on Rob Dyrdek and how he was able to get clear and gain clarity on his life. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I do videos on business, life, and everything in between. Also, I have a free quiz on my website if you're interested in taking that, if you're living an empowered feminine life. I also have a free download on how to glow up as an empowered feminine on my website. It's under free stuff, so definitely...
Sorry, something went wrong. When you're ready, give it another try.
So definitely check that out as well. Anyways, you guys, that is all for this video. Oh, and I almost forgot, I have a new book that it will be launching September 21st. It's 365 beliefs. It's a journal, and so one of the things that I believe wholeheartedly, especially when it comes to building the life of your dreams and manifesting, is to write things down. And so I'm a big advocate for journals, and so I'm really excited about this new journal that I'm coming out with in September 21st. So definitely go to my website, get on my newsletter, so you'll be the first one to know when it launches. I am so excited, you guys. Anyways, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will check you guys in the next video. Peace.